This is Marina from Darkstar Astrology, bringing you the full moon on February the 9th, and it will fall at 20 degrees Leo, so just in Leo Decan 3. It will be trine Mars. The healing crystal is the Dravite, and the fixed star is Merak in the constellation Ursa Major, the most recognizable probably constellation in the sky. The full moon tarot card will be the Nine of Swords. So this decan is in one of the probably most famous decans. It's the one where Regulus is. So it is the decan of leaders because it used to contain the very leader, boss, king of all kings, fixed star, Regulus. And that's one of the four royal stars of Persia. So it's no longer there. It was at 29 Leo, and it's just moved into Virgo. I think it moved in 2011. So it's no longer there. But this decan still has that leadership quality, and you'll see that the people born with their moon here are Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, Eva Peron and Gandhi. So, I mean, you can't get more proof than that this is a leadership decan. So, therefore, this will bring formidable commanders to the fore in times of war, when life or death decisions need to be made quickly. The moon here adds a nurturing touch to the decan in general, but we still get tough love. That means any leaders will have to risk making short-term austerity measures or unpopular decisions for the sake of long-term prosperity. Now, as I speak, the death toll from the coronavirus is going up, and it's now, I think it's 7,000 cases worldwide. So I think they are starting to shut borders now. So I will talk about this, I think, in a dedicated video, because it's just too much to look at for the full moon. But we definitely need some leadership at the moment, and they're going to have to make unpopular decisions because, for the sake of protecting, trying to contain this virus. So this Leo Decan 3 full moon will not sugarcoat for the sake of popularity. In a sign that seems so ego-driven, it is surprising perhaps that this full moon energy is actually more about helping others than itself, especially now that Regulus is in Virgo, which is more about service to others. Much depends on the soul's evolution of those touched by this full moon. So if you've got anything around 20 degrees of the fixed signs, you may feel this especially potently. So you need to, if you've got any harsh aspects plugging into this from your own chart, then this full moon could twist the energy into a ruthless drive with tyrannical tendencies. So watch that. Mostly the moon here is admired for generating great courage though. Heads of nations, companies or family become trailblazers and will do whatever it takes to protect those in their care. So we do need caretaking at this moment, definitely. The roaring lioness who protects her cubs is the most obvious symbol of this full moon energy. At the mundane level, this is the great patriot willing to die for their country. It's certainly best to keep these type of natives as your friend and not your enemy at this time. So woe betide you if you betray anyone during this full moon. At worst, those touched by this full moon will suffer greatly if they stoop to revenge, and they won't care who else they bring down with them. But this moon is also trine Mars, which is a pretty positive aspect. It is, I call this one passion fruit. So yeah, again, it's protection. It's fiercely protective of their family, passionate, and it goes very well with the Leo energy as well. So it is time for families to stick together and also be courageous as well. And I think, thinking of all those people in China who are stranded in these cities now, that relying on your family is going to be stronger than ever, isn't it now? So the closest star to this full moon is Merak, which is at the as I said before, it's in the Big Dipper, Ursa Major, but it's actually not, it doesn't actually fall in Decan 3, it actually falls in Decan 2 because it's right at the very end of it, but this is the closest one. Now, Robson says that Merak can love command and domination. Manilus says that, well, he actually sees it in more positive light and says that it could be more of a taming energy rather than destructive. Yeah, he says he will dispel the fury of the tiger, training it to become a peaceful animal, while Alts, the other beasts which molest the earth with their savageness, he will join in friendship to himself. So again, yeah, at the moment we need this sort of taming energy, because when it comes to survival and in the face of a potentially killer virus, then yeah, you need to calm people down, and that's the thing. How do you strike the balance of not panicking people, but at the same time you have to also be strict about this too. And if you start shutting down borders, people are going to start panicking. Now with Merak here we see Leo's guiding leadership qualities, since the bears are so close to the celestial pole. Now, I don't know where I got this quote from. I think it was from Manilus as well. And it says, motionless itself, it yet sees everything spinning about it. The top of the axis is occupied by constellations well known to hapless mariners, guiding them over the measureless deep in their search for gain. Yeah, sounds like Manilus. Oldie-woldy language. So, sorry, I've got this virus on the brain, but it really is just making me think of, travel and trying to keep calm in the face of chaos as well. Now, Bernadette Brady says that Ursa Major, the constellation, gives insight, persistence, endurance, and passive strength. It is the strength of patience and the use of time to calmly solve problems rather than take dynamic action. So I guess people who are trapped in their houses are going to need patience there. So people with this star prominent, and when this star is prominent, then fiery Leo histrionics happen all around, yet anyone who is connected to this energy will be able to do their motionless pole star thing, centered without a hair blown out of place. In the end, this decan moon, or the moon being in this decan, it generates a kind of eerie calmness that freaks others out so much that they finally stop their commotion. So yeah, I think it's just going to be someone just being very, very calm in the middle of chaos, really. So when I was writing this down, when I posted this initially, I don't think the virus was that big news. I mean, it had started, but it wasn't. It hadn't seemed like it could be a pandemic, but now it does. And usually, we've had other scare stories, haven't we? We've had avian flu, we've had SARS, which was quite a bad one. That was in 2003. And then there was some other, what was it? The one with pigs? Oh, swine flu. Yes. So we've had other ones. And I always thought, they're always going to be blown out of proportion and used as scaremongering and stuff like that. But this time, I don't know why, this one does worry me a lot more than other ones have. So that's why I want to do a special post on it. And also just because of Pluto as well, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, the fact that I titled that Protect and Survive it's just made me go a bit, what's the word? It's just made me worry a bit more. So the healing crystal, and we're going to need a lot more than healing crystals, I guess, if this really does take hold. But I chose Dravite because it's a brown tourmaline, incredibly grounding and good for centering yourself and for taming that raging beast within, the paranoia beast. So the Crystal Bible says this is good for emotional healing, coming to terms with personal weaknesses and past failures to set us on our forward path for spiritual growth, for overcoming bad habits, self-abuse, And addictions, especially coffee, chocolate, alcohol, or painkillers. Now, the first three on that list I've been very naughty and having quite a lot of lately since I have got rid of my health problems, but we'll talk about that in another thing as well. So yeah, that's kind of probably why I was attracted towards it. But anyway, healing crystals for you actually say that it helps you deal with old emotional problems, that it brings to your attention so you can deal with the issues instead of burying them and allowing them to fester, improves self-esteem, helps you love yourself, inspires courage and persistence to keep going when you'd rather give up. So that suits the Mars trine or moon trine Mars as well. But crystalsandjewelry.com, this suits the moment as well. It will give support during your tough times. It will help calm your frustrations. It will encourage a positive attitude, especially during situations where you need to start over. It will infuse you with feelings of joy and courage so that you will look for the silver lining when you're experiencing a tough time in life. So yeah, I just think it's a good grounding stone to keep us from getting hysterical about viruses, really. So the tarot cards, I forgot to mention that earlier. This is the Seven of Wands, and the keywords really fit well with this Mars-ruled Leo decan, and also the trine to Mars as well. So it's rivalry, competition, territory, which is big in the news now, I guess, maintaining power control, staying at the top, resolve, leader, power, control principles. No, not control principles, but control principles, taking the higher ground, holding your own, strong personality, assertive. Also, yes, under attack, fighting as well. So it's really, generally, if this is your decan, the meaning is that karmically, this can be a lifetime when you must stand up for yourself and not let others take advantage of you. Those who are more confident will have bright, burning ambition. It suggests that you're going after what you want and are prepared to fight your way to the top. Yeah, this is Teach Me Tarot. And they say that your personality is strong and forthright and you're very confident in your approach. Convictions are strong too, and you believe passionately in what you're doing. So, oh yeah, and another warning is make sure to pace yourself. You do not want to burn out before you reach the finish line. I think that also in these times is if you are having to make do with whatever shopping you have in the house as well. You know, it's like you're going to have to be patient and even ration yourself maybe as well. And here is the third face of Leo, according to the Picatrix. So this is what it says. A man who is old and black and ugly with fruit and meat in his mouth and is holding a copper jug in his hand. This is the face of love and delight and food trays and health. Bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's kind of mixed, but since, again, sorry, keep thinking about the coronavirus, fruit and meat in his mouth, is talking about food again, and holding a copper jug in his hand. Copper is ruled by Venus, and I don't know if this is true, but I don't know. I think it's true for silver, but cutlery that is silver is supposed to sort of disinfect things as well, I think. So it's a good... I don't know if copper works like that also. But anyway, that's what the Picatrix says. And I really liked the illustration that Jay Swafford has done for this. And I just picked the eye in the middle of that kind of spiral thing. And I thought it does sort of suit the Eye of the Storm thing and the whole pole star. So yeah, it fits very well. So I'm going back to using his illustrations. I was trying to find other artwork because sometimes they can be a bit scary for people because there's a lot of skulls and I didn't want it always to look too negative. But I think what I'm going to do is just really zoom in for the main picture, and there's always some really nice geometric pattern in his illustrations anyway, and then I can put the full one on the post, so then you can see how it makes sense. It also looks like a bit of a infinity sign, doesn't it? as well. It does look like it looks like the two of, it just reminds me of the two of pentacles, I think. Okay, so here's my new setup. I got rid of the blue. It's time to go. Anyway, so my rant this week then, it's very weird, this coronavirus. And so I think I want to talk about health, and I want to talk about how it's so strange that if we don't shut down borders or keep some kind of set boundaries, then some kind of disaster will happen to force us to do that. And it seems like maybe that's what's happening with the coronavirus, because I don't think British Airways are accepting any flights from China now, and Russia's shut its border with China as well. So it is a weird one. Also, just an update also on health. I don't know whether this warrants a YouTube video on its own, but in case you're interested, I got rid of the acid reflux, because basically it was down to taking enzymes, cutting out oxalates. I was having way too much nut butters, and also going back to having really doing a sort of keto diet, really. So it was, sorry animals, but it cured it basically. And I think it might have been an intolerance to almonds, and but the main thing is taking enzymes. Digestive enzymes are great, and also I gave up wheat as well, so no pasta anymore. Although I did relapse when I went to Sicily for a few days, and it did come back a bit as well for eating pasta and bread. It's impossible. It's impossible not to have pizza. But anyway, sorry, I've really digressed. But I just thought you might be interested if you have reflux problems. Honestly, look into oxalates, look into going a bit more keto, and giving up wheat and taking enzymes. I didn't need to take those PPIs either. And and I had a couple of scans as well, like an MRI of my neck, and I was freaked out about that for a whole month as well. So but it's clear, and I had a camera down my nose as well, and they looked at my vocal cords and they just saw kind of reflux symptoms there. But anyway, they've signed me off because I cured myself. Hey, so that's that health thing. But we do have to keep ourselves healthy now, because it seems what I've looked at with this coronavirus, it's to do with, we need to have a strong immune system. There's been no deaths outside of China, so hopefully it's not going to be as fatal as other ones. But I actually looked into the Spanish flu, which was I didn't realise how many people died in 1918. So almost 100 years ago, just under 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, maths, that 50 million people died of the Spanish flu, and it was horrendous. But it was spread through the war because of basically soldiers in close proximity to each other, and going from America into Europe, and then obviously wherever they went, they carried the virus with them. So I had no idea. 50 million people. I can't believe this is the right figure. 500 million people had the virus? No way. Anyway, so we don't learn about that, do we? In history, just how bad that was. And the thing with that was, it's called the Spanish flu, not because it was more prevalent in Spain, just because they were reporting on it way more. It's just that the people fighting World War One didn't want the the opposition to know that they were dying of flu. So it would have, they wanted to boost themselves. So they kept it a secret. So it was only known as the Spanish flu because Spain weren't involved in the war. So I thought that was interesting. And also, can we believe China as well? Because obviously people are going to downplay it. And there were some people talking about on the news that we don't know if we want to say that it's a pandemic yet because of how it will affect economics. Oh, great. So, yeah, we got to just keep doing business despite the fact that there may be a pandemic on our hands. So that's kind of interesting as well. And the fact that they're building 2 hospitals now in China, like from the ground up, and I think they'll be able to do them in like a couple of weeks, suggests to me that it's not just some small thing. I mean, 2 hospitals of 1,000 beds each, I think. So yeah, I don't know if we're being told the truth here, so like the Spanish flu. But like I said, it does worry me because of Saturn conjunct Pluto, but I will look into the history of these viruses. And in the meantime, all we can do is not panic, I suppose, because, fear does lower your immunity. Know that, if you have a strong immune system, the only people I think who have died have been older people, maybe over the age of 60, I think. So yes, just, keep healthy and learn about health, because you have to be your own doctor. I mean, that's what I learnt trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And it was simply a case of diet and enzymes and low stomach acid. Great books to read are books about stomach acid, and also there's another book haven't started yet. It's about you're not ill, you're thirsty. It's another thing. Drink enough water. And so yeah, cure yourself. And another thing, yes, about PPIs, how bad they are for you. These are the proton pump inhibitors, which so many people are on, antacids, and they are so bad for your health. So we need to look after our health. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.